Well, good evening, everybody. How are you all doing tonight? Are you guys ready to make a louder noise than next door? Yeah, we're going to rock them out the park over here. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Monet Van Staden. I'm the owner here at Journey Downtown, and I'm so excited to introduce Salsa Brosos tonight. They are giving us something very special. They are from the Bay Area, and it is a group that started during the lockdown and said, you know, we want to do something special. We want to do it a little different. We want to have music and mix a little bit more about the storytelling of what's behind what we're singing. So you guys are in for a real treat tonight with this group. They're extremely talented. And again, I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight. We also do have a salsa night once a month. If you want to come out and dance and listen to some music, come on out. It's a Thursday. I think it's every fourth Thursday of the month. So we'd love to have you guys out. So let's give a big round of applause and welcome up Salsa Brosos.
Everyone, thank you so much. Thank you to Journey Downtown for hosting us. Thank you. This is Salsa and Storytelling. It's generously funded by the Onstage Vacaville's Artist in Residence program. And my name is Kirsten, and this is our salsa band, Los Salsabrosos. Tonight isn't quite a lecture. It's not necessarily a concert, but it's a nice, interesting mixture of those two. And what I want to be taking you through is 3 different eras in Cuban history and various songs that I consider to be representative of those eras. Why did I do this? Well, I have Cuban grandparents, and living and growing up in Miami, I really believe that Cuba was the center of the universe. The little stovetop coffee makers, we call those Cuban coffee makers. Meat hammers, they were Cuban meat hammers. Café con leche was a Cuban invention. Flan was a Cuban invention. And later on, as I grew up and I left Miami, I realized that the rest of the world also was somewhat important in the development of civilization. But I did realize that Cuba did have a monumentous impact when it came to something that I love, music. And when I grew up, I thought Cuban music was super lame. I really didn't want to deal with it. I was like, this is what viejitos are doing. I want to listen to like reggaeton and everything. But of course, like what happens to a lot of people, when I left, I realized that I actually wanted to have that in my life. So like a lot of folks who leave the home of their culture, I got really into salsa. And I've been dancing for the past 15 years. And during lockdown, I was very, very upset because I couldn't dance any more salsa, and I started just listening to it and really thinking about it. And I told myself that once I left and once I was able to go out into the world again, I would never let the opportunity pass by. So when I started hearing these songs, thinking about these songs, I realized that because of my background, there was a lot of stuff that I could pick up that others might not necessarily. So there's a song we're going to perform later where there's a line that goes, Yo tengo un amigo balsero, de donde crece la palma. And because I grew up in Miami, I know about Jose Marti. I know that was a line from a Jose Marti poem, que yo tengo un amigo sincero. And I realized that because of my background, because of this, I was able to make a lot of connections that other people might not necessarily have. For example, and I realized that it really helped me connect to the music in a way I hadn't felt before. Because it's really easy to listen to music and just feel it and vibe, like the song Blurred Lines, and every breath you take, you can hear it and you're like, oh shit, that's really weird. But I realized that I got a deeper appreciation for the music, and I loved finding these backstories. And I do want to say that I discovered every song has its own weird history. There's a lot that leads up to it. But I realized that sometimes I'm never actually going to know what happened, because history is the result of millions of tiny micro interactions, and I realized that I'm never going to actually know what went down. Any summary I see is just one person's interpretation of all these different things that happen. So tonight, Salsa and Storytelling is about sharing with you what I've learned, and I feel as though this is my way of honoring my culture and my heritage through the medium I love the most, music and dancing. There is a dance floor, so if you feel so compelled, please dance. Well, with that, we're going to begin. Can I start with chapter 1, Sergio? Chapter 1. This is what I consider Cuban classics. So what we're going to do is, our first song is a bolero. Boleros are a genre of song that originated in Eastern Cuba, sung originally by traveling trovadores that had these sophisticated lyrics dealing with the themes of love. The first song we're going to present to you is Lágrimas, Negras, which means black tears, originally written in 1930 in the Dominican Republic by the Cuban composer Miguel Matamoros. He was the son of a washerwoman whose parent abandoned him, his father abandoned him at a very early age. He actually bore her maternal surname. And during his life, he was profoundly influenced by the devastation caused by his father leaving him. Their family struggled financially, and he had to sell water and sell little candies on the street to make ends meet. Years later, he's a famous musician, and he's heading back from the Dominican Republic. He's returning to Cuba from a tour, and he's in a hotel room, and he cannot sleep for the life of him because he's hearing this woman crying and crying and crying, and he goes to the lodge owner, and he's like, I'm so sorry, like I know she's going through it, but can you please explain what's happening, because I cannot sleep and I gotta wake up early tomorrow. And the lodge owner said her husband left her, and that's why she's crying so much, and there's not much I can do about it, my apologies. And he was hearing this pain in her voice. He's recognizing this pain caused by just abandonment throughout his life, and this formed the inspiration for this song, Lágrimas Negras, which was also one of the first recognized songs in the style of a bolero son. So with that, we're gonna begin.
Echado en el abandono, aunque tú mataste a mis ilusiones, en vez de maldecirte con justo encono, en mis sueños te colmo. Sueños te colmo de bendiciones. De tu extravío, siento el dolor profundo de tu partida y lloro sin que sepas que el llanto mío tiene lágrimas negras. Lágrimas negras como mi vida. Tú me quieres dejar, yo no quiero sufrir. Contigo me voy, mi santa, aunque me cueste morir. Tú me quieres dejar, cueste morir. Un jardinero de amor siembra la flor y se va, otro viene y la cultiva. ¿De cuál de los dos será? Tú me quieres dejar, yo no quiero sufrir. Contigo me voy, mi santa, aunque me cueste morir. Amada prenda querida, no puedo vivir sin verte, porque mi vida es quererte y amarte toda la vida. Tú me quieres dejar, yo no quiero sufrir. Contigo me voy, mi santa, aunque me cueste morir. Tú me quieres dejar, yo no quiero sufrir. Contigo me voy, mi santa, aunque me cueste morir. Tú me quieres dejar, yo no quiero sufrir. Contigo me voy, mi santa, aunque me cueste morir.
You may have noticed that this song begun kind of slow, bolero style, and then picked up and became faster paced, and I started using these things called the claves. Anyone here heard of a clave before?